It's lights out and away we go!
What's up, guys and girls, and welcome back to the GT UK F1 podcast. I'm joined by David.
Hey everyone, we finally made it. We are at the final.
Yeah. The final, which I actually didn't see much of.
I must admit, can I bit of disclosure here? I fell asleep through parts of it.
What, the race?
Yeah, I don't think it was boring. I think I was just been tired or something, but
Ah.
I saw bits and pieces. But yeah, so
So
all I really saw was quali and then most of the race.
obviously, it's quite weird because I look back at my notes. Obviously, I did see FP2, and yeah, it was quite interesting. I mean, I mess up on my own spelling, even in my own notes, but hey ho.
Why do you think you're just speaking for a living rather than writing, folks?
Well, yeah. And sometimes I can't even do the speaking part, but you know.
Well, that's also true, but I wasn't going to say that.
I mean, Abu Dhabi was what I was kind of expecting.
Abu Dhabi's weird. It's a circuit that promises greatness and then seems to somehow often fall short of the mark. I mean, obviously, we had the fantastic 2021 Abu Dhabi, which, yeah, I'm going to mention that now just so the Hamilton fans start frothing already.
Yeah. I honestly, I know Abu Dhabi pay a lot of money to be season finale or final, whatever, of the rest of the season. I think it's time to let somebody else have the season final.
Where would you pick, though?
Weirdly enough, I would put probably Jeddah at the end.
Yeah. You've also got to watch, because the thing is, it's not as simple as just...
Oh, we know.
You got to think about weather and stuff,
and money.
Well, even taking the money aside, if you assume every circuit would be willing to pay you, like you couldn't make Spa the final race of the year.
No.
Because chances are you'd probably be doing it in snow.
See, you can't even put Vegas. Can't even put Vegas at the last race of the season because look at the trouble Vegas caused this year. The cold weather, the time, you know.
I also will give Vegas credit, first ever year, so we'll give them some leeway that. The first ever time we've done it, we'll learn for next time. But yeah, the weather, that's the thing, stuff like the weather, you don't think about it, but it makes such a big difference.
You couldn't have Sao Paulo. I mean, Jesus Christ, look what happened at Sao Paulo this year.
Most of England would be most of Europe would be on the wrong side of the weather.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the Arab states, for want of a better term.
Oh. Well, you're looking like UAE
Somewhere
side
like Australia, perhaps, but they quite like being early in the season, I think.
Well, they used to have season opener.
Yeah. I mean, Bahrain would probably be a reasonable shout, but they are now season opener.
Bahrain like the season opener, don't they? So, I mean, I don't know, honestly. Like I said, I like Abu Dhabi, but
I may be controversial here, but I don't think the changes a couple of years ago have actually made it any better. Getting rid of the chicaning before the first tight turn and getting rid of... I honestly don't think they've improved the circuit. I think if anything, they might have taken away a little bit.
Do you want anybody to blame for that one then?
Why are you putting it on?
Well, you could put the blame on Karun.
Well, I see one of the ones who
he had a hand. He had a hand in the redesign.
I don't know. Just to me, it seemed better when you had those extra braking areas, the extra Can I say, in theory, it should be a circuit with a lot of overtaking. Because
It's-
there's a lot of tight, slow bends after long straights.
But it's not.
I don't think, well, we had no retirements. Did we even get a yellow flag?
No.
No, it was another one of those just start to finish runs.
I mean, we had more yellow and red flags in FP2. That was the only one out of the entire weekend.
Yeah, you'll have to talk us through practice because unfortunately I saw none of them because obviously we were back to reasonable times of year.
So, I did manage to catch up on FP1, but FP1 was a bit blasé and nothing a lot happened. You know, it's the usual.
Still more happened than Vegas FP1 though, let's be fair.
Yeah, that's true. Then practice 2, there was about, 11 minutes into it, something like that, and Sainz drops it at turn 3.
Quite a lot of damage as well from what I saw of the pictures.
Yep, he ended up in the barrier. The session got red flagged. I'm thinking, oh well, that's a record. That's like 2 minutes less than Vegas.
Sainz, the same person who calls it like a Vegas.
Yeah, and it was just like,
The guy's just bad juju at this point.
and then they're gonna get going. There was a bit of argy-bargy bullshit in the.
I saw that with Max on the main lead. There was a rule eventually made that there was to be no overtaking in the pit lane.
In the tunnel.
Which I never liked it. I think I've talked about it in the past.
But this goes back to what I said about consistency. Again, 1 minute they brought the rule in. It gets done at another circuit, they change the friggin' rule. It wasn't clear cut. So, it's... They need to take a damn good look at themselves now and realise how...
Anyway, I want to critique FIA rant, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but they do. They need to take a damn good look at themselves and realise what, this season, how much of a fuck-up it's been for them at times. And how much of the inconsistency has been. I mean, hell, I'm going to say it. If things are this bad, bring back fucking Michael Massey. Bring him back. Now I'll get the Hamilton fans forming.
Now, there's a comment I never thought I'd heard come from you.
I wanted him back. I wanted Michael Massey back after when they decided that they were going to go to the free race director things. When they did the free, I'm thinking it's
well,
not.
I was still fully expecting it to be 3 every race, not just 3 when they felt like it.
And then it went down to 1, and he's probably about as useless as a cock-flavoured lollipop.
Nice dodgeball reference there, I'll give you that.
But there was some...
Not the quote I particularly like, but I know you can use the quote I particularly like.
Yeah, I couldn't use the one that, But honestly, it's just been an almighty shambles from the FIA this year.
Probably the biggest shambles since last year.
And, so the session got kept going again. Then Hulkenberg decides, I'm going to light up the tyres on the first corner, spin it and bang it into the barrier.
I didn't think he didn't actually. I thought he didn't actually crash. From what I heard, he just stopped. I didn't realize he binned it.
Yeah, he binned it. He basically tried to light the rear tyres up, spun, put the back end into the barrier, and the car stopped. And another red flag. And it was just like, I get it. Because of the fact of, they've been rushing out, not properly doing the tyres, cold tyres. You know what it's like when you light up your tyres, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
And basically that's what happened. And, yeah, I mean, practice 3 was just the whole usual, blasé. There was more excitement in the F2 than there was And
I never saw that either, unfortunately. But
so I don't know when I heard it. I can't remember if it was qualifying or if it was in the race. But apparently, Vowles, or James Vowles, William team principal,
yeah,
is going to make the decision on Sargent after the season. So it's going to be any time now until the point of testing.
yeah.
So it's any time from when the season finished, which was Sunday. About 88 days he's got, or less, to make his... Isn't it about 89 days till the season kicks off again?
90 something, isn't it? Something like that, anyway. Last I heard, though, he was... No, it was still the one unassigned one, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's the only unassigned driver, basically. There's only one...
What do you think? Do you reckon he'll be back next year or what?
Isn't Vowles ex-Mercedes?
Yeah, he was.
I mean, will he be ruthless? That's the thing. Will he be ruthless and say no?
Well, he's got to do what's best for you've got to think what's best for the team, haven't you? The thing is, Albon proved that that car's actually not as bad as a lot of us gave it credit for.
The Williams...
Sargent unfortunately failed to follow that, and the trouble is, you were almost at the same position that you got with Stroll in the Aston Martin. The big difference is there's a reason why Stroll keeps his job.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but
I know what you're about saying. I honestly agree with you, but
Stroll's time's done. Okay, he has improved, but in ways. But then
I just say get Mick into that car.
He's gone backwards. Get Mick, yeah. Well, which one? The Williams or the bloody Merc? The Williams or the Aston Martin?
Aston. I think Aston alongside Alonso.
I suppose he could learn some things from Alonso.
That's what I'm thinking. Game alongside Alonso in that Aston. Let him shadow him for a year or two.
Mm.
And then as for the Williams, whoever won the F2 this year.
I don't think that would happen.
I mean, if they're tied to another team, but just somebody from the F2 into the Williams and start getting...
Because the fact that you've got Porsche... It was Porsche that won the championship.
Ryan, is he tied to...
He is tied... Oh, is he Aston Martin?
In that case, then it's all Merc ecosystem.
Got to say, it is Porsche. I'm going to have to just quickly fact check this. Is he... I'm just wondering. Is he? No, I don't think he is Aston Martin, actually, because... Is he Sauber? Because I know he was doing...
The thing is, like I say, if he was Aston Martin, then I wouldn't be worried, because
He's
Aston
not,
Martin would
'cause-
mean he's a Mercedes engine, which means
Yeah,
he could go...
it's Drugovich that's Aston Martin, isn't it?
Well, drag him into like the Williams then.
Hmm. I mean, you could do, I suppose, but... I'm just wondering if... I'm just trying to find out if Porsche had anything...
Well, who did he race for in 22 then, to win the championship with?
Oh, an F2?
Yeah.
He was with... Oh, God, he was with. I can't think who. Was he with bloody? That's not helping. I need to find it. Pocher is with. No, he's not with Dams. Is he? God, there we go. He's with ART,
Right.
which is French based. So I'm technically thinking he is Alpine.
Could be.
He's French. Both of their drivers for ART are French.
Well, both drivers for Alpine are French.
Yeah, that was getting a bit spicy.
Won't be the first time those two have fallen over each other, let's be honest.
So, qualifying?
Qualifying I did see, yeah. Qualifying, obviously Sainz straight out in Q1, maybe the crash and the lack of running time hurt them a little bit.
The problem was everybody had a strange runnings, really. Nobody did long runs.
Yeah, well, like I said, a lot of the sessions got cut and various things. It just didn't happen, did it? You know, stuff ends up getting.
Yeah, ART is Alpine, so
Fair enough.
it's part of their power arm. I mean, yeah, quali was just weird.
Weird, yeah, weird, yes and no in some ways. It was. I mean, am I the only one who let out quite a big laugh when Russell knocked Hamilton out at Q3?
Oh no.
Like, you know,
A big smile came across my face.
I did quite enjoy. Of all the people to do it, I did quite enjoy that one.
The fact that it was his own teammate.
Yeah. Kind of gutty for Perez not to make Q3, but I knew there was a good chance he'd make a lot of it back in the race.
Yeah.
And I think we saw a final sort of resurgence from Yuki. Maybe a little late, but
Maybe a little late from Yuki, but yeah, no, Yuki. I think Yuki didn't want to get outshone by Ricciardo, if I'm honest. But like I said, knowing that Danny Rick had that contract, I still think it should have been Liam Lawson. But hey, don't get me wrong, Danny Rick did.
Yeah, well, like I said, I largely agree with you on a lot of these things.
I mean, let me get the. I've done the usual trick where I've been looking at something else, and looking at my notes, and I should have had the qualifying page up in front of me. I mean, fair play to McLaren.
Oh yeah, McLaren, like I said, McLaren have to have some kind of recognition of the sheer amount of progress they made this season. From where that car started, which was, let's be honest, a joke.
Oh yeah, it was.
To where it finished, where it was it won a race. Okay, it was a sprint, but it still counts.
Did Logan? What happened to Sargent? Oh, yeah, that's of course. I was going to say what happened to Sargent, but it was track limits that screwed Sargent over.
Yeah.
Not once, but twice. Was it Crofty that said, I think that might be the final nail in the coffin?
Something like that.
Somebody said it. Somebody come up with some comments. I mean, where the hell was Where was the Alfa Romeos? They just weren't there.
The Alphas have sort of had that season where they've shown odd moments of brilliance, but largely it's not been a great.
Yeah.
Now, have Alfa Romeo largely stopped developing, knowing that they're out the end of 25 anyway?
Well,
Are we starting to see a slowdown?
well, Alfa Romeo is out.
Yeah, because he's becoming the Audi team.
Well, they bowed out at the end of this year.
I thought the Audi didn't kick in till 25 or the latest, if not 26.
The engine, yeah.
Technically, he's never had an Alfa Romeo engine. It's always been a Ferrari engine.
Yeah, but no, I can't remember if it was this year or next year, but I believe Alfa Romeo is bowing out.
Yeah. We've got a couple of, we've got Ford coming in with Red Bull. We've got Audi coming in with Sauber. A good time for the F1 for engines from new manufacturers coming in.
I mean, it's Alfa Romeo Sauber, isn't it? Is it?
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah. Alpha Tower is getting its name changed.
Yeah, they haven't fully revealed what yet, but it's to do with the sponsors in it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
OnlyFans Red Bull coming next year.
I mean, the shock of the qualifying as well. We're seeing signs go out.
But I said, yeah, signs out in Q1. Like I say, is that lack of running? Is that with being in the car early and the loss of time?
Yeah, I think that was it with him being in the car and they were struggling for setup there. You know, I mean, okay, Daniel Ricciardo for Q2, Albon Q2, Stroll Q2, Ocon Q2, Hamilton Q2. And Gasly was driving the arse off the car. Perez, well, I don't know if that was just some poor setup choices by Perez, a poor setup choice by Perez, or what.
Yeah, I have no idea. The car, we got the same. If you remember at Vegas, he suffered a little bit because the car just wasn't quite set up right.
You know, you had the likes of one Haas into Q3.
The Hat Holes made it for the last time of the year, eh?
Alonso down in 7th, Yuki in 6th. Now, like I say, Yuki, I think that was just a statement as well, just to obviously outdo Danny Rick, but to basically show Franz Tost.
And also, we should take a second to mention there, Franz Tost's last race.
It was his last race.
You know, whether you particularly knew his name or not, if you're into F1, a lot of the drivers we have on that grid came through him.
Max
is the big one, but a lot of them. What he brought through Red Bull's junior program.
Yeah, exactly. Max, Yuki.
You get the likes of Vettel through him as well, wouldn't you, back in the day?
I believe so. There was others,
You know what?
I think.
Did
Ricciardo or not? Danny Rick as well.
No, he started in Minardi before he went over to Red Bull,
right.
didn't he? See, if you remember, he got that third in Australia in a Minardi. But, yeah, basically, I mean, I would say over the last few years, Red Bull have been the most active in bringing young people into the sport.
Yeah.
That's the reason the whole AlphaTauri team got set up, or as it was back then, Toro Rosso.
I mean, I'm telling you what, if they broadcast the F1 Academy in 2024 on Sky, I will be watching it.
Fair enough.
Well, you know why.
Yeah.
And for those that don't, Leah Block is at Williams.
Not that. Bring back the esports onto the main channel. That was fun.
They've been showing the esports on the F1 YouTube.
Yeah, we'll bring it back onto the actual channel during lockdown. We have more fantastic Johnny Herbert moments.
Yeah. But yeah, no, qualifying was just what it is. About, like I say, apart from the two upsets, was like, Sainz going out in Q1 and, well, not so much of an upset of Hamilton going out in Q2, but
Hamilton and Perez missing Q. Perez didn't quite make. Oh no, he made Q3, but got his time deleted, didn't he? And got put back to.
yeah. It was what it was. I mean, for Russell to knock Hamilton home was just
I enjoyed that.
Was just like, wow, okay.
I did enjoy that.
And, then we just get on to the race, and I don't know.
This is where I honestly don't feel there's a lot to talk about.
There isn't.
That's the problem. Like I say, as I said at the beginning, I fell asleep during parts of it. I'm not saying that because I said it was particularly boring. I don't know. It's just this is me of recent years, old age, catching up with me a little bit sometimes.
It just wasn't.
But like I say, no yellows, no safety cars, not a lot of overtaking. Okay, we had a minor attack from Leclerc at the start. And then
I will get onto Leclerc as well later on.
And then it was just business as usual, I mean, I will say, and I've said this before, but whether you like Max or not, whether you enjoy this era of domination, which I don't.
I do.
You've got to admire. He was the only driver who finished every single race this year.
Yeah.
He finished every single lap. He won something like 85% of the races.
He led over 1,000 laps.
Level of perfection, and there is no other word for it, is not that often seen in sport.
No.
For that car to complete every single lap of that season, no mechanical problems, no crashes, not get run into by anybody else.
Well,
the chances, the amount of sheer situations that has had to go the right way is quite frankly mind-blowing.
Well, he did have a slight...
Have we ever had another season where somebody finished every single race? That was one for Crofty's stat man, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know how to start Googling that one to look it up, but maybe back in the year when we only had 3 races in the season or something like that.
Well, Max did. He had a gearbox issue, but it wasn't enough to cause him too many issues, shall we say.
Okay, there have been 9 occasions where a driver has recorded no times during the season, and only 2 where a driver completed every single lap in a season.
So there's been what? 9 and 2?
There's been 9 recorded no retirements.
Right.
Now, this article is from 2019.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's Dan Gurney in 1961.
Well.
Completed every single race. Richie Ginter in 64. Michael Schumacher in 2002. And here's the curveball. In 2008, Nick Heidfeld.
Bloody hell.
There's a name I wouldn't have expected to see on this list.
Hmm.
Not anything against Nick Heidfeld, but as far as I'm aware, the guy never had many sort of wins or championships to his name. He never won a championship as far as I can recall.
No, but if he's completed every race, then,
Kimi Raikkonen in 2012.
Good old King Kimi.
Max Chilton in 2013.
Hmm.
Your old mate, Danny Rick in 2016.
Yep.
Hamilton in 17. Hamilton in 19. Sainz in 21.
Yep.
And apparently Giovinazzi nearly did the same in 21, but retired at Abu Dhabi. 2021 Abu Dhabi. Oh, what a great race that was.
You're just rubbing salt in the wounds here now.
But anyway, so that's actually more than I thought, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and so yeah, the race was a bit blasé. Then we had the incident. We had the little bit of an incident between Perez and Norris.
Yeah. Which I thought it was kind of clumsy. Was it really worth a penalty? I'm not entirely sure.
Yes, but the problem was, could Norris have kept it on the bloody track? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Could Norris have kept it on the track?
Possibly, given well, it would have been pushing.
But that's the thing. You know, some of them were saying, oh no, Perez isn't going to get a penalty, but then he ends up getting the penalty. Which was a bloody shame.
It's not been any like real championship adjustment.
No.
I think he still got second.
He did. Sainz got screwed by strategy. Ferrari strategy at their finest.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched you play F1 Manager. I think you should have offered your services to them. Because let's be honest, I don't think you could do a lot worse.
I probably couldn't. What the? I get it. They were banking on a safety car from previous from previous years. You know, there was a 40% chance of a safety car. But what? They screwed him royally.
Mm.
And they pitted him far too late. Far too late.
Oh, yeah.
And that hurt him because he basically... Sainz started 16th. He finished 18th. It was just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But the only thing I don't understand is I look at the results page here and it's showing Carlos as a DNF under race results. But there was no retirees.
I was going to say, yes. Unless he pulled the car on the last lap, but I can't recall him doing that.
Don't know. But according to that, obviously Bottas and Magnussen got lapped. And according to the results, Carlos got DNF'd. Wasn't a disqualification, it was just classed as a did not finish.
I'm reading here. Bear with me 1 second.
Well, while he's reading...
I know, most of you are amazed that I can't.
You what?
I know, most of you are amazed that I can, but...
And it's like... Yeah, what...
No, literally, I'm on the F1, the Formula1.com site, so the official...
Yeah.
And literally, Sainz rules very disappointing end to season after finishing outside of points.
Yeah, he finished outside of the points. So I don't understand why they've got him down as a DNF.
No, I can't get it because everything here makes it look like he finished.
He did finish. That was the weirdest thing.
I don't know though, unless there's been a mistake there, but...
I don't know. Give me 2 seconds and keep this rolling.
Okay. Well, what's the...
Just keep going.
Alright. So, yeah, that... I don't know what I was going to say, really. Just come to the end of the season, as I've already said about the sheer dominance of the Red Bull. Like I say, I must say I'm not the biggest fan. I would much rather see a closer fight, but just see what next year brings. Where, you know, we're still a couple of years away from big regulation changes. That will be the shake-up because it always is. But we had such a topsy-turvy. God, I recall us at the first couple of races talking about the possibility of an Alonso win because that Aston Martin came out the blocks like a bat out of hell. And then I don't know if it necessarily went backwards, but just I think everyone else caught up and just left it a little floundering. Then, of course, we got the McLaren resurgence. Now, that has been great to see. Oscar has been brilliant. Oscar getting that sprint victory was absolutely brilliant. So, gutted he wasn't Lando. I'm still gutted that Lando's not managed to get his win. Well, got away. I mean, another Australian teammate. He's no chance for a while, has he? But
Always a bridesmaid, never the bride.
that's what I always say, innit? And you said it yourself. Even Crofty started using that one. It's true, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the poor guy's been so close on so many occasions. And he just never seems to quite work out.
No.
But I was just going through a few things. I say like how, we had Aston Martin start off great, die off. McLaren went the other way. Ferrari at times looked strong, but always seemed to they seem to unravel themselves. That's the issue.
Yeah.
They seem to, as you said, it was strategy calls. I know it's easy to sit here outside of the bubble and say, well, you got that wrong, you could have done that better. But these are very intelligent people, paid a downside more than me and you.
Yeah.
And are supposed to know what they're doing. Some of those calls this year have just looked... I get, sometimes you roll the dice, you do things differently. Heck, you've watched me on the game roll dice and do something different. But I've always got a basis in logic when I do it.
Yeah.
I'm always a little bit like, I always got a good inkling that that's going to work. It's not just I'll take some wets on now. Let's see what happens, shall we?
Yeah.
And I just don't... Go on, sorry.
Well, it's not just Ferrari. I mean, it's like you say, Aston Martin.
I think a lot of Aston Martin was we know they got that update wrong mid-season.
Yeah.
But I just think a lot of that also was they made a massive leap forward through winter.
They did.
Massive leap.
Yeah.
But then the other teams, just don't forget, every team is constantly moving forward. I just think after that massive leap, they struggled to maintain that pace. Whereas all the other teams then developed up to and in fact past them.
Yeah.
Like I say, for the first 3 or 4 races, me and you were sat there discussing the possibility of an Alonso win.
Yeah, I know.
And we were quite confident it was going to happen.
And it didn't.
No, none of us would have sat there and... I wonder what odds you would have got on the start of the season for Piastri to get a win this season.
Oh.
After the first couple of races, the way that McLaren was performing.
God.
You'd have owned the bookies by the time you'd finished.
Yeah. If you'd have had, if you'd have had, if you'd have had some money on a Piastri and a win. Oof.
Oh, yeah.
And, okay, Perez has had a kind of good season, but then also not a good season. And then,
He's not shone himself in the glory that I know he's capable of.
No.
That we all know he's capable of.
Yeah, it's been a bit weird. And, it's just like, okay, yeah, insult to injury for Perez after Abu Dhabi as well, which he made some comments on the in-lap about the FIA and...
I saw that, and apparently we got a warning for it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And it's
but I'm surprised Max never got anything for that. Send them my regards about the penalty at Vegas. Because that was basically him saying he realises the penalty meant nothing, and if I'd been the FIA, he'd have been slapped with a fine for that one.
Yeah. And I mean, Max, gonna say this, but Max has gotten away with quite a fair bit this year. At times.
Yeah, but all these people who said we were bullshitting when we said Hamilton got away with the world, it's
Yeah. But, okay, one of them, the incidents yet again was FIA fucking up, and they held their hands up to that. But, yeah, Max did get away with quite a lot this this season.
It
If I'm
honestly got
honest.
away with it. There was also half a time where the penalties clearly aren't quite fit for purpose. Like a 5-second penalty means nothing when the car can romp away by a minute.
Yeah. But
Maybe some of these penalties need to be looked at.
what I enjoyed towards the end was Leclerc backing down
To try and get Russell clear.
to try and get Perez
Try and
clear.
get Perez clear so Russell didn't get the. That's the sign of somebody who is so. Despite the fact he's manhandling this monster round a track at 200 miles an hour, he's got the mental capacity to do the maths and figure that one out. I mean, bloody hell.
Yeah.
Say what you say about him. He's obviously damn intelligent.
Well, the thing is, it come across the radio and I was like, did I just actually hear that right? And the next minute,
And then I'm watching the time chart, and I'm watching the time between him and Perez slip, and I saw Perez get past him.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's bloody doing it.
it's like, fair play, Charles, fair play. I mean, yeah, you are playing the game, but it was just a shame that Perez just couldn't have got his ass moving.
Well, it wasn't that. Leclerc didn't want to back down too much to end up too close to Russell. Because if he'd have been too close to Russell and he'd got his timings wrong, potentially he could have been ended up behind Perez as well.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't.
I mean, Leclerc could have backed off more and could have literally just become a roadblock.
Yeah, but then he had to be careful because he didn't want to get himself in trouble for a. Because there's only so much he would have been able to defend before he'd have got called up on that. I mean, that was brilliant from Leclerc. I mean, fair play.
It's amazing. Oh, it's amazing.
It's just shame it just didn't quite work.
No, I've said it before. Leclerc has. If you cut Leclerc in half, he's got Ferrari through him like a stick of rock. He loves the whole. That's why I'm saying, despite what's happening, I can't see him ever moving teams, because I think he wants that championship with Ferrari.
But is it going to come? The Ferrari.
I'm not a Ferrari fan. However, I understand what Ferrari means in F1.
Yeah.
And they've got to get back up to them kind of levels. They have to, especially when they won Le Mans this year. When Giovinazzi and the Co and Ferrari, to me, whoever strategized Le Mans, get them in the friggin' F1.
I mean,
because they can clearly make a car work.
Don't get me wrong. Unfortunately, I didn't get, and I'm going to just quickly put this out there. I didn't get to vote on Driver of the Day.
No, I didn't, because I didn't watch the race live, unfortunately. I watched it a couple of hours behind.
I watched it live. I just completely forgot to vote.
No, I started watching it about 4 o'clock, because I was busy in the afternoon.
Yeah, no,
I hadn't heard the results or anything. I'd managed to keep myself clean.
Would you like to know who Driver of the Day was for Abu Dhabi?
I know Yuki.
Yuki.
I don't know where that came from.
I know where that came from. Because he just... It's basically, he just had a stellar drive. From where... Because, Yuki started 6, and by the time it all finished, he ended up 8th.
Yeah.
He'd only lost a couple of places, or a place, 2 places, whatever. But it was the fact that he wasn't tumbling back down the order.
Yeah.
I think because it just had such a stellar drive, and that's what that was for.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just, yeah. I mean, yeah, fair play to Yuki to get it.
Made a change from novice, didn't it?
Yeah.
the Lando Norris fan club seemed like it had a lock on that driver of the day list for a while.
I expected, honestly though, I expected someone like Charles to get it, or Charles.
Max or something like that.
Yeah, not when I saw, because I didn't see, because they didn't actually. I don't know if they showed it up on screen who driver of the day was.
He did.
Did it? I missed
Yeah,
it. Then
I saw it.
I missed that bit then. So I was just, I went onto the whole vote page and I had a look, and it was like, your driver of the day, Yuki. I was like, yeah, I can see that. I can see why.
Yeah.
And honestly, yeah, it was just. I'm going to give my final thoughts to this race now.
I think I've been mine clear through what we've said. So, not a great race. Certainly not one for the ages. And, well, I'm looking forward to 2024 as always. New possibilities. And I just want to, once you've given your thoughts for the race, I've got a couple of closing questions I'd like to ask you.
Oh, can we do the closing questions towards the end? Because there's one more thing we need to do after that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
There's one more thing we need to do before that. And basically, my thoughts were it was an okay race. Wasn't the most thrilling. Wasn't really gripping.
Yeah.
We've had more exciting races. And yeah, let's get this bit out the way first, shall we? So, for those that obviously, if you've been listening and regularly and following, we do the Formula One official Formula One Fantasy League on the official site, and I'm having a look at David's points here. I'm looking at your team because I wasn't revealing the entire thing yet.
Right, okay.
At least you didn't get any negatives, which was a good thing.
No negatives.
I didn't get any negatives.
Honestly, our team were very similar. I mean, you took it by the look. You took that race as well.
I did. But I don't understand why I took that race.
You had no negatives. Good
Why did I take that? Why did I get the... Oh. Well, yeah, why
Alonso? I think Alonso's the big difference between our teams.
Because you had Max and Perez, didn't you?
Max Perez, Norris, Piastri, and Zhao. Red Bull and Williams.
Whereas I had McLaren. Because Max got fastest lap, didn't he?
Yeah.
So what? Something swayed that for me to get 307. I mean, Alonso did 6 overtakes in the race. Norris did 6. Guan Yu Zhou did 8, so that got me 10. And Oscar did 6. Still can't quite work out why.
The end result is congratulations. You won it. I think you led the entire season.
I did. Honestly, I've not.
Just watch out next season, because like I've said, we'll be doing it again and we'll be coming for you.
I mean, Alan was close.
I was third.
Yeah. But like I say, one team only next year.
Yeah. And as we've said before in the Fast Folks, if there's one for him, please let us know. Comment, let us know. We'll put one open that you guys can be involved with as well.
Yeah.
We'd like to have the one with just us to make it easier for us to
Do this.
to work on. But if we can have a fans and viewers league, which will be in as well,
Yeah.
and then we'll see which one of you can get the highest up the list, whether one of you can beat us. Which, if Chris is the best we've got, isn't a very high guard.
Really? Says Mr. sitting in third position there.
I know, trust me.
Yeah, but I
feel like I've just lost a game of darts to Mr. Magoo.
I still feel the entire fantasy league needs a little bit of tweaking on certain points.
I've told you, I think you get way too much money. I have way too strong a team. That team is way too strong.
Well, my team's strong.
No, but in general, I think you should have. I can't remember what the total was, but take like $10 million off it. So you've got to actually start making choices.
The cost, can't remember the cost cap now.
Well, basically, I've got 4 of the top 6 drivers in my team, I would say.
Yeah, you have.
And I just don't think you should be able to do that. I don't think the money should allow that.
But, that was just, it was an interesting little experiment. But yeah, like we say, if you guys want to get involved, then, comment and let us know. And we'll set up.
Yeah.
We'll set up another one. Obviously, as soon as we can set a new league up.
In fact, that's the thing this year. It was quite a late decision to do it this season, wasn't it?
Yeah. As soon as
for next season, we can go into it a bit more prepared.
Yeah. As soon as we set a new league up, then you guys can obviously come and join us. Just say if you're interested, and then once we get it up, then we'll also put a link in around on like social media and stuff like that, so people can obviously get involved in it. And it'd be quite interesting to see who wins next year. Now, next year could be completely different because there'll be a chance that I probably won't win next year's, just for the fact that it's not going to be it's going to be completely different. We might see another driver by then. But before we wrap up, I'm going to let David ask the questions.
That's why it's a couple of points. He said if we're not going to be doing the season review, that's why a couple of most impressive driver of the season.
Oh, there's a question.
I mean, it'd be easy to say, and yes, the obvious answer is Max. But
the obvious answer would be Max. But for me, the one that's actually impressed me is Oscar.
Good choice, solid choice.
Go on then. Who's impressed you?
That's a good shout. To me, it will be a very close call between him and Lawson.
True.
I think for that brief spell he was in, he was solid.
Getting dropped in at the deep end, I suppose, yeah.
Literally. It was like the Saturday, wasn't it, when suddenly, right, mate, you're in car.
Yeah.
Now, I know they go there as the backup driver with an idea it could happen, but you're still not going to be quite in that mindset. You're not going to have had that week of, we're happening, we're doing this. Rock and roll. But Oscar's a good shout, I'll give you that.
And somebody else impressed me as well, though, and that's been Albon this year.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So, actually, something I forgot to mention was this. Did you notice, by the way, the medical car jumped the start?
Yes.
Glad I'm not the only one who noticed that. You saw the Aston Martin bounce forwards and stop again.
Yeah.
I was waiting for a 5-second penalty for Van der Mar jump start.
But
yeah, he full on jumped the start.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They have to go when them lights go.
But to be honest with you, they probably do try and set off fractionally sooner because at the end of the day, that's a 2-ton SUV.
Yeah, but
he ain't going to accelerate like an F1 car, and he needs to be somewhere nearby as they go around the first corner.
Yeah, there's nearby, but not literally going to be in one of the gearboxes.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Set off right, you'll be in front of Sergeant. Be racing him into turn 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Piastri for your favourite race of the year?
Good question. Very good frigging question. I know you're going to disagree, but Silverstone's been there for me.
Silverstone, right?
But then again, I liked Monza, but then again, I like Vegas wasn't too bad. But I'll go on then. What was your favourite race of the season?
Got to give Vegas a shout for what it was, and for actually kind of proving a lot of people wrong, because we thought it was going to be all spectacle and no go. But actually, I'm going to give it to Qatar. I think that whole weekend. No, that's not the entire reason. I know what you're thinking now. But for Piastri getting the sprint win.
Yeah.
That set it up brilliantly. And then, yeah, there was what happened in the race. But a track which seemed to genuinely have and cause drivers problems, which to me, these are meant to be the best. They're the kind of races we should be having.
Yeah. But, overall, it's been an interesting season. And we haven't got long to wait till 2024 season.
Yeah, the one good point of them now wanting to fit a race in every single weekend of a year is, we're only like under 100 days till we do it all again.
I mean, we already have the 2024 season.
Calendar.
We have the calendar.
Yeah.
So, and it begins, so we've got Christ, we've got some work cut out for us, boy. Next year, looking at these podcasts. Looking at the listing for these podcasts.
No, we haven't. Oh, because it's not work, because we enjoy doing it.
I know. But, you know what I mean? It's like, 3rd of March, for example, 3rd of March. Because we always wait. The reason why we wait the day after the race is because if there's any big... That's why we never do this the night after.
It's because we got caught out once or twice where decisions, especially races that I work for, we're both UK based, for those who don't know. And when we had races that were like really late at night for us, or races that happen later, we'd end up doing a podcast and the next day they'd announce a lot of penalties and change the whole running order.
Yeah.
So we wait till a Monday, you get it on a Friday, we record it on a Monday. Then we know generally by then everything's come out.
Yeah.
We're not working on, we think this. We're not working on a provisional result.
No.
Because that just doesn't feel right to us.
So it's a case of we're hoping to change the date of the podcast release for next year. For next season.
That's on the guy who runs the channel now. He's a bit of a wally, but he normally gets it all right.
It's a discussion between me and you, obviously.
I know.
And it's a case of we have to look at this and look at timings, because...
Yeah.
And things like that, because... Oh boy, next year is going to be an interesting season. Because you got Bahrain, Saudi, Australia, Japan. Yeah? So that's 2 early starts back to back on a weekend.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a back to back, but it's, 2 early starts. You've got China coming back. Hopefully. Then you've got Miami, Italy, Monaco, Canada, Spain, Austria, Great Britain, Hungary, Belgium.
Apparently, sorry to just in, I'm reading. apparently signed to retire because he ran hard tyres the entire race.
Didn't
He had
have,
not made the required tyre change.
so he didn't, rather than him getting
Rather than getting
DSQ'd.
penalised and disqualified for running the wrong tyres.
Oh, right. Interesting.
Now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, the pit stop summary doesn't actually tell me on here what
I think,
tyres they went on to and stuff like that. So I
I think he
haven't
did
got that.
hard.
So yeah, so that I'm sorry to jump back there. I was literally reading something and that came up.
Then you've got Hungary summer break, Belgium summer break, Netherlands, Italy, Azerbaijan, Singapore. Then you've got Austin, so you've got Qatar, Mexico, Brazil, Vegas again,
Yeah.
Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi
Mm.
on December the 8th.
I know. We're in
That's
December.
a hell of a season. That is going to be a lot of strain on the teams.
I don't say too much, honestly. I know I'm probably controversial when I say that, but I don't think it's too much.
That's going to be the drivers thought this season was bad. Next season's going to be interesting.
I'd cut it down to I'd limit it to 20 races if it was me.
22.
Well, I shouldn't argue. We're getting more racing, which is never a bad thing.
We're getting more racing, but it's going to be what it is. So, yeah, we're going to end this.
I have one absolute final point I just wanted to quickly say.
Go.
Say what you like. This season, it's all been worth it for one simple thing. That Conor Moore karaoke video is bloody amazing.
I was about to bring that up in the next thing we do.
Oh, were you right?
Yeah.
Whatever you think of this season was entirely worth it for that video. You've not seen it, by the way.
Yeah, I have.
For the people watching, throw a link in the comments on YouTube, if you remember.
Oh, I will do in the description.
Because it's well worth a watch, and it is absolutely. It's one of the funniest. I haven't cried laughing for quite a long time.
Spice
but
Boys.
The first time I saw that.
Well, I saw it this morning at like 3 a.m, but I was going to send it, but then I thought, no, I'll send it tomorrow.
I don't know.
No, you didn't.
I shared it publicly. I shared it on my main page.
Yeah, it's been a bit... Facebook's been a bit weird in terms of showing stuff. But yeah, anyways, we're gonna end this one here for now, and we shall be back again in March of next year.
Yep.
So until then, guys, obviously, thank you for listening, wherever you've been listening. Obviously, thank you to David for being here this season alongside me.
It's an honour.
It's been good. It's been good.
So long, everyone. Thank you for your time.
So until then, guys, goodbye for now.
Good night.